Hello, hey everyone. Okay, so in this webinar, we are basically going to talk about the Salesforce CPQ. So this is something which I've been planning to do for quite some time, but yeah, definitely was not getting that much time to do a webinar on this. And this is actually going to be a series of webinar which I'll be doing. So this is the first webinar in the series, and then there are related topics and. I'll be definitely, doing, the following webinars in the sequence. Uh, and as and when those are scheduled, I'll, let you guys know, or I'll be, putting that on my Facebook page or on the YouTube channel. So, wherever, uh, you got the information from this time, you possibly, you will have the information uh, through the same thing. And of course, people who have got some training from me earlier must have received an email about that. So the same way, I'll try and ensure that you guys are informed about the other webinars in the same series. Okay. So okay. Now, just to get started, I mean, let's quickly understand what exactly Salesforce CPQ is, and why do we need a Salesforce CPQ? So the reason why I'm talking about why do we need Salesforce CPQ, I'll get into that part. But before we start discussing that, let's quickly understand what is the agenda for today. So we have a very simple agenda set up for today, and that's basically talking about what is Salesforce CPQ, why did we need a Salesforce CPQ? That's another question that some of you may be having in the back of your mind, because some of the capabilities of what a Salesforce CPQ can do, uh, some of those features, or I would say some of those functionalities were already available in Sales Cloud. Correct. So from that perspective, sometimes we start thinking that, okay, fine, did we actually need a Salesforce CPQ? Obviously, for someone who has not got into the Salesforce CPQ, or someone who has not seen that particular app, will definitely have that question. I'm pretty sure someone who has seen the app will not have that question, because people who have seen the app will understand the difference. So that is there. So in the CPQ, there are several things. So it's more related to uh, you know managing your quotes, and the way you complete your sales process. How do you take things from getting an opportunity to sharing the quotes with your client. So CPQ is more dealing with that part of your sales cycle, and that deals with several things, like products that you're selling, the pricing, the quotes that those are generated. How do you manage those different things and all. So there are several things which are part of it. What we are going to discuss today is basically about the product bundles, and as I said, I'll be doing a series of webinars on this, and we will be talking about different topics in different webinars. Today's focus area would be to understand the Salesforce CPQ basics. Of course, that's the first thing that we will be talking about. We will talk about product bundles. We'll talk about the product options, product features, and the configured codes for products. Okay, so yeah. I can understand some of these terminology. You will not get it right now, but as we uh, move in the webinar, you will definitely be able to understand what exactly those terminologies mean, and um, how they are basically useful to your sales process or the sales cycle. Okay, so quickly getting into the basics of Salesforce CPQ. Let's get started with understanding a few basics, and understand the concept first. So okay, um, let me quickly start with one quick small question. So what is CPQ? What is the full form of CPQ? If any one of you know, can you please quickly type it in the chat window that is there? I just want to understand, whether uh, we know what CPQ stands for. Okay, that's great. I see, several responses here, and I see that, most of us are clear with P and Q, which is like price and quotation. Some of you are saying product also. That's okay. But C is something which most of us have not got correct. Okay. So, all right. So let me break that for you. So, the moment we understand what CPQ stands for, I think you are going to be clear with what exactly it does. So CPQ basically stands for configure price quote. Okay, configure price quote. CPQ. Okay. Okay. So is for configure, P is for price, Q is for quote. Now these are uh, what do you say? Important elements of your sales cycle, right? When you are actually selling something to a client, you may need to see you may need to work with quotes. You will create a quote, you will share the quote with the client, and sometimes you may need to revise the quote, and all these things need to be done in a way where to all these things need to be done to ensure that you don't spend a lot of time doing that. I mean, do you want your sales rep to sit and start creating something on a PowerPoint, or maybe a Word doc, and then put everything, then generate a PDF out of it, which is going to be very time consuming? Do you want your sales rep to sit and do that? uh, Possibly not, right? So that is there. So code part of it, obviously is important, and that is something which is time consuming. Sometimes what happens, you need to share multiple uh, versions of the code with the client before the client accepts it, and before the deal gets closed and everything. Okay, so that's one part. Price part of it, again, price is something which we have seen earlier in Sales Cloud also, that price can be tricky, sir, in some occasions. Why price can be tricky? Because price is not always that as simple as that. Okay, fine. For a certain for a certain product X, you pay a price, say Y. So it's not as simple as that. It is, it can be a little more tricky, than that. Okay, so that is the price part of it. Now let's talk about the configure part of it. So the configure part of it basically is talking about, so you are dealing with the quotations, and then you are dealing with the price part of it. And what is the configure? What are we configuring? What configure are we talking about? This is related to the product. So another important component in your sales cycle is what? Product. Okay, so um, so if you look at it, products can also be a little tricky, because sometimes you need to sell multiple products together. Some products need to be sold with another some other products and all. Prices can also uh, sometimes be a little complex in terms of what price you sell a certain product to a certain customer. You don't charge the same price for a different customer. Maybe based on the industry, you may be having a different price for say educational institutes, and you may be having a different pricing for, say, government sector, or you may be having a different pricing for some non-profits, right? Okay, so that's just one level. The complexity in the pricing can increase, can be beyond that. Like someone buying 100 units may get a different price, and someone who is buying 1000 units may get a different price. Okay, so that's just another level. To add more to that complexity, let me say that, okay, fine, someone buying a printer alone will have a different price, and someone who is buying a printer with a laptop will get a different price. You see the levels of complexity which are coming up with the pricing. Okay, so that is the thing. So the CPQ is basically meant for handling all these things in a manner. I mean, it definitely has got several functionalities predefined which will help you control all these things in a smoother way as compared to what you would do if you don't have a CPQ kind of an application. CPQ will let you do things step by step in a um, what do you say, in a sequenced manner. So that's how CPQ actually helps. All right. Okay. So let's just keep that understanding here for now. Okay. Now today what we are gonna do, we are mostly gonna focus, or we are mostly gonna talk about the configure part of it. Okay. So that's what is the scope of our discussion. We will be talking about pricing in some other webinar. So that's what I said, that today we are going to mostly focus on the configure part of it. Okay. So, but before before I get into that part, before I start talking about configuring the products part, let me quickly talk a little more about Salesforce CPQ. Now, there is one simple question. Anyone who knows what is a CPQ, now you know what is a CPQ. Okay, but now you have not yet seen the Salesforce CPQ app or any other CPQ app. I'm assuming that most of us have not seen. So, at this stage, you will definitely have a question. And if you don't have a question, possibly you have not thought about it, but you would definitely have a question that why do I need a CPQ when Salesforce standard Sales Cloud application has got products, it has got price book, it has got price book entries, correct? We are aware of that. So, this is exactly, I mean, this exactly the same question. The first time I started exploring a CPQ for one of my clients, and by that time I also had not seen, the CPQ app and the functionalities of it and all that stuff. Till that time, I used to, work with the products and the price book and the price book entry in the Sales Cloud. Right. So till that time, I also had, this question in mind. And the reason why I'm actually, talking about this is because most of you will be easily able to relate with it. Okay. So I used to think that, okay, fine, why do I even need a CPQ? What exactly the CPQ is going to do? I mean, I have the capability of, uh, listing products. I have the, option of product line items in, yeah, under the opportunity. So, or the quote line items basically, or the opportunity line items we can add under the opportunities. We can generate quote from the Sales Cloud. We can basically have the price book. We can have multiple price books for the same product. So, then what is that additional or extra that CPQ is expected to do? Okay, so that question was definitely there in the mind. So I'm I wanted to bring this up just to ensure that you guys can relate to it. And with this question, if you are learning, then obviously you are actually understanding what additional benefit a CPQ brings in. So this is a good way or good approach to look at it. Okay. Okay, so talking about it, using Salesforce CPQ, you and your sales team can go from creating new opportunity to handing the customer a quote in a matter of minutes. So obviously what it is doing, it is making this entire process of, from opportunity to generating a quote and sending it to your customer. So it is actually simplifying that particular thing, and it is reducing the time consumed into that. So that is one part of it, and which is fine. I mean, I'm still not that convinced because similar functionality we still had in Sales Cloud. Okay. So ideally, as a Salesforce consultant, you still will be asking this question. So big deal. I mean, there's something which was being done in Sales Cloud also with the, product, price book entry, and all those objects which were available, all those standard objects. Okay. Now, what is that Salesforce CPQ is doing? How is it different from Salesforce standard products and price books, which are available under Sales Cloud? So this is the business question, right? So you are talking to a client, you are talking about implementing Salesforce CPQ, and the client is asking you this question, and it's a very simple, straightforward question. How is it different? You say, I will generate quotes. I will generate a quote in a few minutes with the CPQ. Same thing can be done in Sales Cloud also. So what is the big deal? Okay. So now let me take you back to what we were talking here. We spoke about generating codes. So one is definitely your codes can get complex at times. Pricing can get very complex at times. So price book does not have that much of capacity of dealing with different types of pricings. You understand that part, right? So pricing, uh, to some extent, price book can deal with it. Like you, if you have, three different pricing or four different pricing for the same product, you can have four different price books and you can have price book entries. Okay, so that's something which is there. But if it goes beyond that, your Salesforce standard products and price book is not capable of handling that. So, what would be beyond that? I, told you about that. That, if you have different pricing for different number of units, and if you have different pricing for, if you have subscription-based pricing, and if you have, pricing when products are purchased together. So, there can be so many things. And uh, the other thing that would definitely come into picture, that's something which will come into picture a little later, maybe a few after a few more webinars in the same series. There is another interesting aspect which is going to come, which is the discounting part of it. So pricing doesn't work uh, alone. It also needs to take into consideration what? The discount, right? Now you can have different types of discounts and all those things, and those things need to come into picture, and those things will decide the final price on the quote. So that is complex. Your Salesforce standard products and price books are certainly not capable of handling those. Okay, fair enough. Same thing goes with the product, the configure part of it. Okay, now product, individual products, obviously you want to add, it's fine. It can be added in the Salesforce standard products. We have that option. What happens when we have to work with different combinations of product? When we have to, sell multiple products together? That's where the configure part of it, or the CPQ functionalities come into picture. Okay, so that is the thing. So how is it different from Salesforce standard products and price books? Salesforce CPQ does use the same product, price book, and price book entries object. So these are all standard objects, product, price book entries. So CPQ is also using these standard objects, as well as the opportunity product object. Opportunity product is basically the, adding products to the opportunity, the junction object between opportunity and product. Okay, so CPQ uses these objects. These are all the standard objects which are being used in CPQ, obviously. So the base objects remain same, and that's what the CPQ is using. But then it goes way beyond that in its capability. And technically speaking, it has got 66 additional custom objects to support this entire functionality. So to bring in, additional data storage, I told you about this, right? That you have got, your pricing and configuration of product, which products can be sold with which other product, and which product should not be sold with which other products and all, so those things can get very complex. To handle that, there are 66 additional custom objects which are part of the CPQ. So that gives you an idea that, okay, fine, there is a lot more which is possible with the CPQ app. Okay, it's not just about the product, price book entry, or opportunity product. So okay, I intentionally wanted to, keep this number here for you to get an idea that, okay, fine, what exactly are we talking about? So we are talking about a pretty detailed app which is capable of handling multiple layers of things in the pricing and the configuration part. Okay, so that's what Salesforce CPQ does. Okay, and okay, so 66 additional custom objects, its own set of fields, configurable settings, and logics and rules such as product rules and pricing rules. So in addition to those things, it has also got um, some configurable settings available, some functionalities are available, some business logics are available, and some rules are also available as part of the CPQ, like product rules and pricing rules. Obviously product rules um, are the rules which will help you control the, what do you call it, product related rules, that which product can be included as part of your uh, sale, or as part of the quote line item, or which products cannot be sold with others. So anything which is which has got to do with the selection of products on a particular opportunity, and pricing rules again obviously will be related to pricing. All right, so the way in Sales Cloud you have got certain rules like assignment rules, escalation rules. Here you have got product rules and you have got the pricing rules and everything. Okay. All right, so now we'll get into uh, the actual configuration part of it. So we definitely now understand what exactly CPQ is and why do we need it. So I don't think anyone still has questions around why do we need CPQ. Yeah. If you have questions, or obviously, the moment you start looking into that application, that question will be gone. Because for me, no one explained to me like this, the way I am explaining it to you. For me, it was all learning, looking into that application. The moment I looked into the application, I was like, oh, how wrong I was to even think of, what CPQ is doing, similar thing can be done using the product price books and all. So obviously, it goes way beyond that. Okay, so as I said, you still have doubts, you still have question. Obviously, the moment you start looking into the app, that question, that doubt will be gone. So yeah, let's look into it. Let's talk a little more about this. Okay, so now we start talking about the configuration part of it today. So as I said, today we are gonna talk mostly about the first part of it, the configuration part of it, and some part of it we are gonna talk in today's webinar. Some part of it we will be discussing in the next webinar. So configuration. So what is the configuration thing? Configuration, we are basically talking for the products, right? Now, what is so difficult about the product configuration? What is that we need to configure, and why are we even bothered about that part? So the simple logic to that is that sometimes for a company which is selling straightforward individual products, it's okay for them, uh, they may be able to manage without a CPQ also. But there are companies, or there are products where the products need to be sold together. Okay, so for example, for a company which is selling, say, computers. Okay, and for computer there can be different types of configurations. You choose a motherboard, you choose a hard drive, you choose a particular keyboard, you choose a particular monitor, and then you choose a particular what else? You choose a particular graphics card that you want to include into that, or whatever. I mean, right? Now your pricing will depend based on what you have picked, what all things you have picked, right? Now this one is actually going to be um, a little complex. It is not as simple as selling individual products. Now some of you may be thinking that, okay, fine, why can't I add all those individual items as the line items in an opportunity? What difference it is going to make? Yeah, you must be thinking about that. Maybe some of us are thinking about that. Okay, the challenge there will be that okay, sometimes you may not be able to then make the right combination, or may not be able to pick the right combination by mistake. For example, you forgot to add a hard drive into one laptop's configuration. You may make that mistake, or by mistake you added two what do you say, hard drives to the same laptop or computer, whatever configuration you were doing. Sales rep may make those mistakes, which will reflect on what? On the quote. And then the client will be happy? Of course not. And then the client actually is not happy, sends back the quote to you and says that, oh, what are you talking about? And then what you do, your sales rep again starts working on that quote, and waste yeah, there's a lot of time waste that happens, and you have also already spoiled your reputation in front of the client. Correct? So that is the thing. So CPQ, or the configuration part of it, makes a lot more sense when you have products which are to be sold together. Okay, and these products which are sold together are called bundles. So we basically call them product bundles. Okay, simple terminology, product bundle. So product bundle is basically, collection of products which are being sold together. A bundle is simply a group of products we know should be sold together. So group of products which need to be sold together is a product bundle. As simple as that. Okay. It is a product with optional features or components that you want to include on a single quote line. So now what happens? Another thing, uh, would like to add here. See, at the end of the day, combining, say, all these parts, let's take the same example. We were talking about a computer and we were talking about different parts of the computer. At the end of the day, on the line item that is shown on the code, you still want to show computer as one single line item, or do you want to show 10 units, individual units as 10 products, or 10 line items on that particular code? Do you want to do that? I would not want to do that. Most of the companies would not want to do that. They would simply say that, okay, fine, this computer with this configuration would cost you, say, $2,000. As simple as that. Okay. Instead of, having 10 line items added on the code, which is, not going to be a very good code then in that case. We understand that, right? So that is the thing. So what happens is, with a product bundle, you can actually include multiple products together, and those get added as one single uh, item in the quote line item. Okay, so in the quote, it just gets added as one single line item, as one single quote line item. Make sense? Okay, so that is the thing. So this product bundle then actually behaves like a product, as a single product, but it is a group of products which are being sold together. Okay, so that is the beauty of CPQ. So instead of showing or displaying those 6 or 7 products which are being sold together, which are part of the bundle, instead of putting all those as individual line items in the quote, it includes one single product bundle as the line item. Okay. Okay. Now, types of bundles. There can be different types of bundles. You have static bundles. So static bundles, as the name says, static. These are the same set of products which need to be sold always together. So that is the static bundle. Configurable bundles, again, pretty clear from the name itself. These are the bundles which can be customized as per your requirement, as per your liking, with some limitations to it. Okay. So for example, when I sell a particular computer, I would say that, okay, fine, the monitor is fixed, and you have the option of choosing the hard drive. Okay, and I say the processor is fixed, and you have the option of choosing the hard drive. You can say, take a hard drive of 1 TB, 2 TB. You have a choice there. So that's configurable. Some part of it can be fixed, and some part of it can be configurable. Okay, so that's the configurable bundles, and of course the nested bundles. Nested bundles are bundles included inside another bundle, which makes sense, right? Sometimes what would happen is you are selling a product, uh, you know and that product itself is a bundle of certain things, and that comes within another bundle. So you're selling a computer, and then you are also selling some software along with that, and 4 softwares combined, you have a bundle for that, and that is included in the overall computer package bundle that you're selling. So that's also possible, right? So you can have static bundles, you can have configurable bundles, and of course you can have the nested bundles. All right. Okay, so that is there. Now let's talk about, let's talk a little more about what exactly a bundle will have. So we are talking, we spoke about the bundle, but what would a bundle have? What would your product bundle have? So let's talk about that. Let's understand that. So the component in the product bundle, first component, or I sometimes call it a lead product, or the main product in the product bundle. It's also called bundle parent. Makes sense, no? So bundle parent is basically the core product, and then other things can be, the add-ons or the accessories of it, right? So the bundle parent is basically the parent product uh, in the bundle. So that's the product itself. Other things are basically going to be the add-ons on top of it. Okay. So let's quickly log in into Salesforce. Give me a quick moment. I'll log in into Salesforce. Let's look at uh, how the bundles would look. Yep. So I am logged in into Salesforce. Let me, let it load completely, and I'll go to Salesforce CPQ and I'll show you how ideally a bundle would look or how it works. So I'm on the Lightning experience actually, and I'll continue this on the Lightning itself. Okay. So this is the Salesforce CPQ application. A lot of these things you are already familiar with, right? Accounts, opportunities, quotes, orders, products, product rules, price rules. There's something which we have spoken. I told you that you can have those product rules and price rules in place. So that is another thing. But a lot of these things, we are already familiar with. So let me simply go to go to an opportunity. I'll just pick any of the opportunities which are there. Okay. And under this, I have got a quote which is added. How to generate quote and all that, something which again I'll be actually discussing in some other webinar. I don't want you to get confused with too many things. But this is generally a quote which is associated with an opportunity. So as simple as that. Okay, pretty similar to what we had in our sales cloud. So this is not something which we are not aware of, of course. So okay, now this is a quote. Okay, under an opportunity, I went to an opportunity, and then I went to the quote, and then I am trying to add some um some more product, or I am trying to add a product bundle to this particular quote. Okay, so I would say edit lines, which will let me add or edit the quote line items. Okay, I would say add product. Okay, and here I will go with a particular, say I go with this particular laptop. Okay, I click on select. Okay, now you see this. So you selected the laptop, or the the bundle parent product. Basically laptop is the bundle parent. Okay, and now along with this laptop there are other things which are included or which are part of that particular product, where you have a choice. Okay, where the configuration is possible. Okay, or these can be add-on. All right, so now if you look at it, I said that I need a 15-inch laptop. In 15-inch laptop I have the option of choosing a processor. Now it's giving me three different options of choosing the processor. First processor, second one, third one. So I have a 2.2 gigahertz processor available for 125. I've got a 2.5 gigahertz available for $100. I mean, don't go by the pricing. It's just random pricing given here. 2.8 gigahertz processor available for $250. Now I have the option to choose which processor I want. Okay. Now this is so simple here. You see the configuration part of it, how the bundle actually helps. So, configuring the entire product bundle is so simple. Okay, just a few clicks. So now, you may be a sales rep and you are talking to the customer and you say, okay, fine, you want 50 15-inch laptops. Okay, and what is the processor that you want? If you go with 2.2 gigahertz, it's going to cost you $125 or this one. And for you, all that you have to do is you just have to click on this. You are not actually going to the product, add one more line item, and also which will be very complex. Now you understand how simple it becomes. Okay, so let me go ahead with this one. The last one, I said, okay, fine, I'll go with a top speed processor, and then I need a memory, which is of course 16 GB RAM. I'm okay. I want this one. I'm okay with this. Storage hard drive, I would need which one? I need uh, this one. Okay, 512 GB storage. So now this entire thing is a product bundle. If you look at it, okay. So your 15-inch laptop is the core product or the bundle parent, I would call it. And these are basically the additional options which are available. I'm going to talk about this part a little later. So this is a complete product bundle. You selected things, and then what you are going to do is just click on save. That's it. You've added. And so now if you look at it, it is included here as one single product, and the total that is coming here is 1975. So approximately to $2,000. Okay, now you make it 50. Okay, and you can basically change these things also, the quantity of these. Okay, but first time it definitely allowed you to uh, you know choose those what do you say, the child products along with the uh, parent product or the bundle parent. All right, so choosing becomes that simple. Okay, so that's how your product bundle works, and that's how the configuration part of it would work. Okay, now let's understand a few other things here. Okay, so what is the next thing that we have? The next thing that we have here is the product options. Okay. In the meanwhile, I just see one question. Usually, I would not be responding to all the questions that I see here, but this is a simple question. I'll just read out and I'll try to address that one. So there's this question which says that can't we what is that question? Okay, it says that can't we select the quantity at the time of choosing the product itself? So I mean, knowing Salesforce, I'm assuming that you guys know Salesforce a little bit of it. Knowing Salesforce, you know, one thing that you have to understand that all these things can be done. You can have different screen stages and all. It's just about how you want to configure your settings. Everything can be done. Okay, so don't worry about that part. Possibly certain things which are not configured that particular way on this app, but you will have that option. So as I told you, you will have all the options and all. And on top of it, your Salesforce CPQ is still on the say the force.com platform. So certain things which are not part of the out of the box functionality of CPQ, you will definitely have the option of controlling some of the logics. So I mean, this was a simple one, but if you want to automate certain things, if you want to uh, enter certain values on a certain screen and all those stuff, everything can be customized. So yeah, that's something which is doable. Okay, all right. Yeah, coming back to what we were discussing. So what is the other component? The other component, the component that we have um, in a product bundle is the product option. Okay, So now what is this product option thing? What is a product option? Product option is basically the option, the products which are sold with the parent product, okay, which are actually uh, available as options. Okay, now what we saw, the moment we tried to add that product, that 15-inch laptop, we had all those other things added as what? Those were added as the options. Those were available as options, and then we selected whatever we wanted, right? That 2.2 gigahertz processor is an option. 2.5 gigahertz processor is another option, and 2.8 gigahertz processor is another option. Okay, so all the items which can be included as part of the bundle, in addition to the parent, the bundle parent, those are all options. Fine, simple. These products in the bundle can be considered as children of the bundle. So anything which is added. So we saw, you saw that we added three additional products as as part of that particular bundle. So one is the parent product, one is the the bundle parent, other three are children, and these three children are called product options. As simple as that. Okay, so you can understand it that way also, if that terminology helps you understand it. Okay, so one is the central product and everything else is option. Make sense? Simple. Okay. So these products in the bundle can be considered children of the bundle parent and contribute to the bundle price. So these will contribute to the bundle price. That's exactly what we saw there. The overall price was coming, around $2,000, which was sum of the price of your parent product and all the three options that we selected. Make sense, no? So give me a minute. Let me go back to this particular screen and show it to you. Yeah, so if I have to talk about this, this is of course your parent, and these are all options. Okay, all right. So that's basically about the product option. Now, what is the other thing that we are um, working on? So we have got bundle parent, we have got the product options. What is the other thing? The other concept here is product features. Okay, now what is a feature? Features give structure to bundles by grouping similar options which then appear in separate section on the configuration page. Got it? So feature is an, see, now for this, let me again take you back to the same screen where we were adding product. I'll take you back to the same screen where we were adding product, and I'll say take the same example for your understanding. I go back to the same configuration page. This is a configuration page. This is a configure product page. Okay. Now here, what do we have? So far, what we have understood. We have understood that the 15-inch laptop is the parent product. Okay. And all these are options, right? All these are options, like this 2.2 gigahertz, 2.5 gigahertz, 2.8 gigahertz processor. These are three options. So if you see how many options do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 options. Okay. But don't you think if these options were just listed in one single flow, then it would have become difficult for you to choose one from each of these, right? So everything is listed without any break, or without any grouping sections. Then it becomes difficult for you, right, to choose. So now what we need? We need some way of grouping those options so that the sales rep can easily pick, or the sales rep can easily we say select the options, and at the same time he also has a better visibility in terms of uh, which all features have been already selected and not selected and all. Correct. So what are the features now here? Processor is a feature. and then there are options under it. Memory is a feature, storage is a feature. You get this? So if I look into the overall product bundle, this is the bundle parent. All these products, the are child product, or these you can call them as the product options. Basically, the correct terminology is product option. You can call them child product also. And then they are grouped into features. Simple. So that is what we have. Okay. So now if you look at it, what we have is if you look at your product bundle, what we have is a bundle parent, product options, product features. Okay. Features will allow you to group similar options under different sections, and that would appear on your configuration page. And then with that, what you can do is, or what your sales rep can do is, your sales rep can quickly go ahead and configure those products. Okay, fine. All right. Now the next thing is your configured codes. Okay. um, we will learn how to create a bundle also, so that's something which we'll be doing a little later. The other important thing related to this particular concept of product bundle is configured code. Okay, now configured code, what exactly configured code is? Configured code is a simple concept of creating a unique code for a for a particular combination. Okay. um, so let me show you an example and then you can understand that. Okay. Configured codes are unique quote line codes based on bundle configuration. Okay. So based on the configuration, Salesforce would generate a unique code for that particular configuration or for that combination of products which are included in the bundle. Okay. Now, why do we need this? So this configured code represents how product bundle has been configured. So what happens is, see, you have added a product bundle to the quote, okay, and it got added as a line item. So obviously, what are we talking about? Four things. If you look at what we just created, four things. Let me go back to the Salesforce screen again. See, if I go with this particular combination, so my product bundle will have this laptop, it will have this 2.2 gigahertz processor, it will have this particular 8 GB RAM, and it will have 256 GB hard drive. Okay, so this is what the bundle will have. But on the quote, it is actually going to get added as a single line item. Correct? On the quote, we have spoken that it gets added as a single quote line item. Right? Now, if you want to look at the quote line item, if you have to look at the line item and understand which all products are part of this bundle, how do you do that? Becomes difficult, no? Just looking at that single line item, how do you understand which processor is included in it and which memory is included in it? Becomes difficult for you, right? Or for anyone. So for that reason, we have the option of setting up configured codes. So what is that code? It's basically the unique code for your product bundle. Okay, so let's look at an example. So for example, take this one. This is a configured code of a product bundle. Okay, where this P28 is for 2.8 gigahertz processor, and you have the option to set that what sort of code you want to set up. The template of the code you can set up. Okay, you have that option to choose that, so don't worry about that. For 16 GB RAM, R16, I would say P28 R16 H512. H means hard drive 512. Okay, so now even if you don't have this information, looking at it, you can understand that this is a laptop Okay, there's a laptop with 2.8 gigahertz processor, and this is your internal, as I told you, this is a template or the format of it. You can decide and you can basically set it up. Okay, so that's how it makes easier for anyone to quickly look into the line item and understand the complete configuration of it. Okay, so that's how it would basically work. Okay, so what we'll do is we will keep it here for today. We will just discuss this much today. The next thing that we have to do is we will talk a little more about products. So another thing that I definitely want to discuss is uh, how do we create the bundles and all these things, and how do we generate the code, the configured code for it. So that's one thing. And then how of course how do we add this to the line item, and a little more about the products part of it. So next webinar we are actually gonna be talking more about uh, you know creating the bundle part, and also other features or functionalities which are available within the Salesforce CPQ for the products. So that's what we will be doing. All right, so with that, I think I'm actually gonna keep it here, and I will be closing.